Multiple injuries, which we know. And now Eagles beat reporter Tim McManus is saying that Philly's pick of Jalen Hurts in the second round will only bring more turbulence to Wentz after he signed a $128 million extension. So, Shannon, how much will Hurts' presence hurt Wentz?
Well, quarterbacks are territorial, Skip. It's always been that way. It's always been that way, and it always will be, Skip. There was friction between Joe Montana and Steve Young. I remember when the Broncos selected Tommy Maddox after we had just lost the AFC Championship game by 3 points to Buffalo. And the Broncos select Tommy Maddox with the first round. I know what that did. And you look at it. What you think Eli Manning thought, Skip, when they took Daniel Jones last year? We heard Ben Roethlisberger when they took Mason Rudolph. I ain't getting ready. Let the coaches get it. So you create, sometimes, Skip, you create a monster that you didn't even have to. You created Frankenstein when you should have been making a nice cocktail. And you created a monster that didn't even need to be. This is the way Carson Wentz needs to approach it, Skip. If I'm healthy, there's no way Jalen Hurts can beat me out for this job. And that's the way he has to approach it. Now, Skip, they might give him some packages where kind of like what they did with Lamar Jackson when Joe Flacco was there. But for me, you created something, Skip. He's in the first year. He's 27. He's in the first year of a $120 million deal, $63+ million fully guaranteed. And you bring in Jalen Hurts, you talk about we develop quarterbacks. No, you don't. Develop quarterback. You'll develop a quarterback. Skip, what we do? We'll develop a quarterback, Skip, if we need one. Are you saying you need a quarterback? Because all I know is this. You do this, I can assure you, I don't care. He's looking like, man, they took a quarterback after they gave me all this. Maybe they're not as sure about me, as sure. And I need to just make sure I'm on my best behavior. I'm going to make sure I'm healthy. I'm going to make sure I play my best, and then I'll let the chips fall where they may. That's all he can do, Skip. Nothing else. Everything else is out of his control. They've already turned the card in. Jalen Hurts has already put the hat on, got the T-shirt. He's a Philadelphia Eagle. So there's nothing else Carson Wentz can do now but go out and play well and keep Jalen Hurts on the bench as long as he can.
So I hear you, and I'm going to take it a step farther. And obviously, I'm a big Jalen Hurts fan. You knew that going into the draft. I've never been the biggest Carson Wentz fan, though I thought he played pretty to very well through stretches last year, and I was impressed. But the more I think about this, the worse it feels to me for Carson Wentz. Mm-hmm. Remember, he had to overcome that ghost of Nick Foles, but at least Nick Foles was gone starting last year. At least he was in Jacksonville, so he was no longer looking over Carson's shoulder as they went into last season. But he had to overcome the cloud hanging over his head of that PhillyVoice.com story. Remember, this is 2 off seasons ago. They wrote a piece that the headline was, sources inside the Eagles paint Carson Wentz as selfish, uncompromising, and playing favorites. And it came off after you read the piece as if, dare I say, he was carcinogenic in the locker room, like he was really a bad force in the locker room. And trust me on this, Jalen Hurts is the flip side of that. Jalen Hurts is a quiet force in the weight room and in the locker room and in the huddle. Players will gravitate to Jalen Hurts. He's a powerful leader with a strong football backbone and a big, strong, good heart that everybody around him loves and sort of feeds off. So he won't make waves. He won't make public waves. He won't make it hard. He won't apply pressure externally on Carson, but internally, I think you'll start to feel a shift in that team toward Jalen, especially if he gets his opportunities and cashes them in. Again, I don't consider Jalen a gadget guy, and I'm not sure how he's going to respond in little short bursts of plays here and there and here and there. Right. But if Carson, and I'm knocking on wood for Carson because I don't even like to bring this up on live TV, But if Carson does get hurt, and he's had his share of injuries, maybe more than his share, and Jalen gets a shot, I think Jalen will cash in on his shot. And that will make it really difficult on Carson, even though they will say when he's healthy, he gets his job back. That city turns quickly on quarterbacks. You know it, and I know it. I think that team could turn quickly toward Jalen against Carson because Jalen's just that kind of a lightning rod leader. So, again, Jalen's not in Jacksonville. He's now on the sideline in Philadelphia. So there's a direct threat and a credible threat. And remember, even though Carson played all 16 last year, God bless you, man. And they were pretty good. They went 9-7. They were good enough to edge my Cowboys by 1 game. He was okay. Pro Football Focus ranked him the 16th best quarterback. But then he gets to his playoff game. It's his first playoff start, Shannon. And what happens? Shortly in, he gets concussed and he's out. He completed 1 ball for 4 yards, and that's his extent of his playoff career. He's completed 1 pass for 4 yards. So I think Howie Roseman and Peterson sat back and said, my God, we really like this kid, Jalen Hurts. Let's take a flyer in the 2nd round because we may need him if Carson continues to be injury prone. And they might even be thinking they may need him if Carson teeters and starts to struggle. So the handwriting is on the locker room wall. It's scribbled all over the locker room wall that you are in some trouble, Carson Wentz.
Well, Skip, what happened is that anytime you give up what they gave up to get Carson Wentz, he automatically comes in, and he came in wanting respect that he didn't earn. And so he carried himself in such a way that turned off a lot of people. I don't care how you come in, but, bro, you hadn't done what you did over there. It's fine. But I need to see some of that right here. And he hadn't shown that. And he was carrying himself like whoa, bro, slow down. You're not the MVP of the league. You're not the Super Bowl champ. The other guy won the Super Bowl, and you carrying yourself in such a way that I'm sure it rubs some of the people the wrong way. But I think now, Skip, this is a wake-up call for him. He knows he's going to have to stay healthy and play well in order to keep that job.
Whew, definitely a wake-up call. Listen up, guys. Did Tom Brady get a free pass? We talk about it next.